Well, I don't know if I'll put this up or not. Just call it tape number two, or I'll probably get it switched one or two. The only thing I'm going to jump to this, the book was taken out of the bank safety deposit box. Let me get to the Wayne Williams that's supposedly going to be looked at again after all these years. The timeline is what interests me. That was a part of this whole thing. So we've got Lee Brown and Maynard Jackson on ABC. Good Morning America, I think is what they called it. I don't watch ABC anymore. I just don't find anything on there I like. Um, I usually watch NBC or CBS, but anyway, all of them are Illuminati control. The people that kidnap it. It's your global government sitting right up there, Rockefeller Plaza. How quaint, Lester Holt, NBC Nightly. All of them are up there in Rockefeller Plaza. How much more can it be in people's face? I mean, these are your global government under the guise of the United Nations. So, world without border, world medicine, world this, making it sound like they're the decent people when that's what they talk about in the end times, chipping exactly what I've been telling about. I just didn't know it led to that. So anyway, now then, Maynard Jackson and Lee Brown have been on network television, said that Wayne didn't do it. They were looking for Wayne and going to try to prosecute him. That's the police commissioner, Lee Brown, that becomes drug czar for Clinton's when Clinton's president. And I left out part of it. He was police chief, commissioner in Houston, Texas, many times over, mayor of Houston once or twice, and then drug czar for the Clintons, the rotten Clintons. Now, okay, so you got Maynard Jackson, the mayor, who's a black African American. You got Lee Brown, police commissioner at that time, African American, going on network television stating that Wayne didn't do it. It was the mechanism used. Well, the mechanism is what? Nobody asked them. It's what I'm telling about mind control. Used to create illnesses, cure them. The Tesla files that were stolen or programmed people to appear to commit suicide or kill someone else. And this is a long time ago. So how complicated is mind control now? They can mass armies, make them do as they want. So I got back to Atlanta during the Wayne Williams because Mary had was going to do a deposition. That was in '81 when I worked for Golden Triangle. And by the way, Golden Triangle and Doyle Duke, the name, he was a good man, and he paid a price for being good too. But their names that fit into all this. Okay, I called Mary, and she was going to have someone. She was Wayne's attorney, wore the big sunglasses. And I was almost killed again. It's Hal, right there in front of Huntsville, Alabama, and everything. Thank God for Jack Hartsfield, the reporter, FBI. And by the way, Salvador Bazzini was sent over there as mayor to try and help save my life. So now then, I ended up back over there on the street, really, during the Wayne Williams trial. And I walked right up and handed them papers. And I don't know, it was when the trial was in recess for lunch or income back or something. And I had handed papers to one of the national correspondents, and I can't remember. It started with an S, his last name, but everybody knew him. But the press was sitting on this side, and I gave it to him. When it broke up for lunch or whatever, he came over and said, and he had my papers in his hand, and he said, "Are you Peggy Childers?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Are you sure?" And he walked. "Are you sure that's who you are?" And he walked away. And I didn't. At that time, I hadn't been out to Larry Flint's and running the campaign in '83 to replace U.S. Congressman Dr. Larry McDonald, who was one of them I wrote about in the book, by the way. That he was on the plane that went down the KAL from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea. Nixon was on it and taken off the flight. Geraldo was on it and got off. And they say that Larry McDonald was taken off too. They took the whole plane down 296 just to make it appear that way. Now then, I hope I'm not waking anybody up here where I live. So I'm gonna put this away in a minute. I just want to say this: the Wayne Williams is suddenly. Lester Holt a few nights ago said that it was going to be looked into again. The police or whoever down in Atlanta. So I'm hoping this tells the truth about what's been done to me, the use of mind control murders, and the truth is told finally. Anyway, when I was down there at the trial and it closed, and I didn't even have anywhere to stay. I had no money. I called Marshall Carnwright that I've just mentioned over and over throughout this, but in the other video I'm going to call one that I'm going to put up with this one. And I had nowhere to go. I was downtown, and I'd come away from the trial there. And by the way, a CIA retired attorney, Marcus, took over Wayne's defense away from Mary Welcome. So if that isn't a flag waving in front of people, I don't know what it is. Could be, you know. So now then, I've left the trial and I have nowhere to go. And I call Marshall Carnwright again. I've just mentioned him about the bank and all this. And he comes up and gets me in the van. He takes me out to his home, him and his wife in Marietta, and I had stayed there previously a year ago or something like that. And this one we'd gone to the bank and got the stuff out and all this. So now he takes me to his home, and I hope I'm not getting this confused. Maybe I was just out there the once. I can't. It was such horror going on back then. My God, they almost killed me in Howe in 1980, April Fool Day. So anyway, I was out at his home after the Wayne Williams trial. He come and picked me up and took me out there, and I stayed, I don't know, about 3 or 4 nights. And then they bought me a ticket, put me on the bus, and bought me a ticket back to Huntsville, where I had nowhere to go. So that's when I found out. I looked up at the picture on the wall. It's about like that size. And it had his picture that, and he had U.S. Marshal on it. And I looked at his wife and I said, "Is he a U.S. Marshal?" And she said, "Yes, he is." So I've spent the night there, and he picked me up at after the Wayne Williams, the trial was finishing. And so this has gone on and on. You've got Scott Peterson on death row. You've got what, God help me that my children are safe somewhere. You've got me living in hell and letting this play out on YouTube and Facebook. And nothing. I sit here still in fear of my life. And people calling me names. My God, right here in Roanoke, if the truth is ever put before the Illuminati control press, the world government, if they're forced to tell it, what are you people going to say?